Hello, and welcome to the next GM report video / prep video, because, well, for two reasons. One, the prep video that I recorded for the last session didn't actually record any sound, so I'm including that information in this video, plus a little bit of prep for today's session. So let's get started with that. First, I talked about actually setting some concrete plot points about Puck, namely what happened. So he went to the island, he got put through Zinthar's trials, and originally my idea was that he got killed during that. However, that's a little boring. So instead, how about he didn't fail? How about he succeeded with flying colors? And Zinthar's minions, Kral Matan, was so happy to have this magic user with so much potential. And slight issue, Puck didn't actually want to go along with any of Kral Matan's shady stuff. And now he's not only a magic user who's got a lot of potential, but he's also not corrupt, and also he knows a little bit about Kral Matan and his minions, and so they killed him. I think that that's probably more interesting, and also allows for more story plot hooks to lead into that. Sorum also doesn't know anything about Puck, and so that's why he'll actually be helpful in talking to people about finding Puck, because he doesn't know that this is actually part of this whole conspiracy. I mean, it doesn't take much to figure it out if you know the details and if you know that there is a conspiracy, but maybe Sorum doesn't know that much, or maybe he just hasn't thought about it properly. Who knows? Anyways, he's going to be helpful, at least. Right, so next, about the Monsters of Uncertainty, because I did actually make stat blocks for them, because I thought the party might bypass the mini dungeon and then end up in Vale Rift at nighttime, and so I wanted to have that prepared. And so originally I wanted to split the Monsters of Uncertainty stat blocks between if they're in bright light, in dim light, or in darkness, and then write different rules for them in that regard. But that was just way too clunky, and like with monsters that are animals or creatures or stuff like that, or even undead, whatever, like actual physical, completely real things, it makes sense to have very rigid stat blocks of exactly how they work. But these Monsters of Uncertainty are literally just things that are manifested through the beholder's nightmares of not being in control. And so having them be that rigid was clunky and unnecessary, I felt. So instead, I rewrote them. I did, of course, define basic values for the ability scores, AC, HP, a couple of attacks. And these are the stats. So, as you can see, when you get hit by one, there's a chance that one of these effects will take place. And also, when it's in darkness, it can change form it can change its form, and also which of these attacks it will have. So, for example, it might come at you as some sort of a big blob of fur, of shadowy fur, and attack you with one of these attacks, then retreat back into the darkness, and then come walking at you as a shadowy, cloaked figure wielding swords, and it's the same creature. Now, it does also have some some spells. It has access to spells, magic, and you can see the stats here anyway. Oh right, now this next bit of prep is for this session, this today's session, which is that Sorum doesn't know Arkhan's already used his dice that day, like his special divination magic. So because of course Sorum is leading him into this mini dungeon so that he can gauge whether, it can be tested whether he has the ability to foretell on which number the die will land, like in the trays, to then open the doors and not trigger the trap. Now, how much of this Sorum actually knows how it works is debatable, probably not that much. However, he does know that he's specifically supposed to test a divination wizard, but the divination wizard's already used his special things. So, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I have no idea what will happen. We'll see. The other mini dungeons that the party walked past, I've decided are going to be sealed off at the moment. Like, you can get into the entrance way, but then down below it's just a massive stone, not portcullis, a massive stone block that's blocking the way, basically. It's been sealed so that random adventurers don't go in and kill the monsters which have been carefully stocked there and have been kept fed. So, makes sense. Plus it means I don't have to prepare what the different mini dungeons for the other schools of wizardry would look like. So, yeah. And that's it for the prep stuff. Now for the report. 1 second. I've got 2 bits of paper this time. So, let's see. Yes. The "we're turning you in" joke was a perfect coincidence. Because you know that I wanted to drop more hints that Sorum is doing some shady stuff and not everything is as it seems. Who could have expected the players themselves just randomly approaching Sorum and telling him, "Hey, we know what you're doing. We're going to turn you over to the Scale Guards." Like, who could have expected that? That was too good of an opportunity to pass up. Now, if I were to do this exactly by the book, then probably Sorum would have had to roll... I keep wanting to say sense motive. It's not sense motive, it's... Insight. Sorum would have probably had to roll insight to see if they're telling the truth or not, if they're joking. But that might have then just that might have just resulted in the opportunity being missed, and that wouldn't be fun for anybody. So I decided to forego that and instead made the others roll insight to see if they notice a reaction in Sorum, because even if they fail, that's going to stick in people's minds. Hold on, why did I have to roll to see if I noticed something about that guy? Is there something going on with that guy? Yeah. Next is the thing about Pock's body being returned to Kar's village. As far as I can remember, that wasn't discussed with... I didn't discuss that with Emichu, because the way I had imagined it is that Pock died on the island and then word came back of his death. Emichu said it so matter-of-factly that I wasn't sure if I had said that or it was a misunderstanding. But either way, that was how Emichu had envisioned that part of her character's backstory, that Puck was returned to the village and it was buried there. And because it has no bearing on the plot that I've come up with, I just kind of default to, okay, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but not sure if that was a miscommunication or what happened there, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. Next is, on the journey to that wood where the mini dungeons are, I forgot to describe the landscape. I wanted to describe it as this bleak, windswept, grassy hills sort of thing, but I completely didn't do that. I was looking at the clock and thought, okay, I have to move this forward, and so I completely forgot. And I tried to do it a little bit when I would describe the wood, so that there would be a contrast between the landscape they were in previously and the landscape they're in now, but it didn't work as well as I would have otherwise wanted it to work. The monster food trafficker / delivery guy, that is what Sorum did before for Skrull Metan. So that was his job, his first job for him, what he got hired to do first in order to pay off his debt against the poisoning. You know what I mean. Also, the hunt's not going well, which I believe was a hint in the first ever stream, when when Brak Igan wanted to have the menu. He was told that the hunts weren't going very well, which is because Skrull Metan's minions have been killing animals, hunting animals, to feed the monsters, so that it wouldn't really be traceable where all of this food's going. And of course, the food, the meat is rotten specifically because it's for monsters. It's like, well, it's not just someone feeding lions, it's actual monsters who prefer the meat to be rotten. Alright, the next thing is polymorph. That's the word I was looking for. What dragons can do, where they can shapeshift into other creatures. It's called polymorph. Right. So, the next thing is, as I was describing the scene, I actually, the scene around the statue in the mini dungeon, I completely forgot about the feeding tubes, that they actually should have a point at the top where they can be discovered. And so I just hastily threw that in, because I thought, hold on, that's a bit that actually really should be described, especially since it might arouse suspicions as well. And it did. And I really loved Willis's reaction about, what is going on with these tubes? Like, why would people be putting rotten meat down there? What's going on? But hold on, what does this have to do with Sorum's brother? That reaction was so great. And yeah, that's all the notes that I have. So I'll see you this evening for the session, hopefully. So bye bye.